Hi, everybody. It's Jake Pentland. I hope you enjoyed this upcoming episode with Kurt Metzger. Honestly, it's my favorite episode we've ever done. I don't know that you'll agree. That man is wild. But I just wanted to say that we recorded this episode before we went on tour in Florida. It was recorded almost a month ago. There's no mention of the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel or anything like that. If you're wondering why, it's because it was recorded a while ago. Also, I want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe for those of you watching on YouTube. YouTube is fucking us so hard, it's laughable. We're getting 20 to 30% of our viewer count on YouTube that we're getting on Rumble, and we have almost 10 times the amount of subscribers on YouTube. It's bullshit. I've emailed them. I've contacted them. We have no strikes, no warnings, but we are definitely being throttled and shadow banned. And even though we're on Rumble and we're happy with Rumble, we want to squeeze everything out of YouTube we can before we finally leave. So like, subscribe, and share. But most importantly, turn on your notifications. They're not letting you know episodes are coming out. They're not sharing us any algorithms. They're polling us. It's a nightmare. It's really unfortunate. We've been with them a long time. So if you could just do that, that would be appreciated. Anyway, thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, greetings, humans. Welcome to the Roseanne Barr Podcast. Very excited today to have an interesting sort of guest on with me. I was there at Skankfest, which was a whole hell of a lot of fun. My friend Tony Hinchcliffe told me to go down there. He said it's a great audience, and it was a festival of comedy, of dark comedy, such as you don't see everywhere. Dark and offbeat and unusual comedy, which I enjoyed, and I enjoyed the audience. So I came off stage, and some guy was sitting there that I never had seen before or talked to, and it was like about 3 seconds into the convo with him, I realized that I had met a fellow traveler or soul spirit sort that I was supposed to know, and we just kept on talking and talking, and it kept on getting crazier and crazier, and I loved it because every rabbit hole I attempted to go down to see if he could do anything about it, he knew even more than I did.
Oh, you see, my patience is growing.
And there were thousands of rabbit holes that we transposed in each other's presence, and I'm glad to have him here because he's a great comic. And he also, like myself, my first fellow guest, has won an Emmy for television, right? I guess that's the only place you win an Emmy. And a Peabody for television excellence, which I'm very proud of. But he has won each of those as well. Please welcome Kurt Metzger.
Metzger.
I can't say
Metzger?
it. Metzger?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a normal way. People fuck it up a lot.
I can't say it too well. Anyway,
a lot
welcome.
of people don't.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It sure was fun to meet you and talk with you, wasn't it?
Well, very few people want to talk, unless I bump into Tripoli. Actually, a bunch of people will there at that festival, but not as far as that was like a real. That was like a real like. Because I got working on a news show, so not everybody wants to talk about all the weirdo shit I want to talk about. You know,
such as Antarctica, which we will be talking about, right?
Yeah, you didn't see the guy. I can't remember what's the whistleblower guy. James, the guy that UFO News came out the same week as the Titanic submarine.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
So a bunch of people came out, and there's that doctor with the bad skin, but Stephen Greer.
Okay.
You ever see him? He's like, oh, I still am trying to collect. So he had all these people that are like whistleblower people, and I've seen him on different podcasts. And the guy from Antarctica is very interesting. He worked for Raytheon down there.
Right.
Raytheon, yeah, why would Raytheon be there? It's a weapon company. It's peaceful in Antarctica. But he had wild things to say.
Like what?
That they got a direct, the ICE neutrino detector?
Yeah.
It's also a direct energy weapon.
It is?
Oh, shit.
According to him. And he said he could do stuff that's really wild. And the way he's telling the story is, you got to watch it. Because I watch all these people. Yeah. They're making it up. I want to hear just something I haven't heard before.
Right.
And the guy, and there's some people I've seen. There's a guy like Randy Kramer, he's called, and he's a big secret space program, and he looks like such a liar. Every way, the way he answers every question, he just is like, it's just so. It looks like a guy I would know from comedy, you know. And this guy doesn't sound like that. He could, to me, I'm curious what you think when you see him talk. Okay. He looks like a guy who was like fed up at his job and really wants to spill like the guy who talks all this shit about P. Diddy now, his old bodyguard. It was like that kind of.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna tell you like that. But some people don't see that. But I thought it jumped out at me when I watched him tell this story.
What other stuff did he say?
I'll just sum it up. There's a clown beam that comes from Antarctica.
A what?
A clown beam.
A clown beam?
Yeah, he said it could do. I've heard of this from other stuff, and actually, you maybe saw that WF presentation about the headphones.
Yeah, that they can hack our brains. Is that what you're talking about?
So yeah. Well, your boss. I made it short, and you wear these earbuds, and it monitors your brain waves.
I never heard this. No.
I just read about it today.
Should I look it up?
Can you watch that? Okay, so this is a WEF.
You really do, though. You have to put the
this is a WEF, like TED Talk kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And this Iranian lady that, I can't remember her name, but I looked her up after because I was like, what did I just watch? She goes, this is the world we're going to be having soon, and this and that. This wormy guy brings up, she's going to introduce something, and then he sits down, and then they play this cartoon that is insane, okay? When it's done, she comes out, so you guys ready for the future? And all the people go, no. And she goes, well, it's here, so we gotta have a talk. You know, we gotta talk about it because
it's here.
The age of owning all your data and watching all the time is here. You know, we can have a conversation, but it's here. That's the thing. So watch what it says. So,
all right, what am I looking for? You got to tell me. Or can you text it to me?
WEF.
WEF.
That's Klaus Schwab.
Yeah, Brainwave. It's all the great oligarchs, the real Davos men. Brainwave earbuds.
Your memo is finished. Your inbox is under control. And you're feeling sharper than you have in a decade. Sensing your joy, your playlist shifts to your favorite song, sending chills up your spine as the music begins to play. You glance at the program running in the background on your computer screen and notice a now familiar sight that appears whenever you're overloaded with pleasure. Your theta brainwave activity decreasing in the temporal regions of your brain. You mentally move the cursor to the left and scroll through your brain data over the past few hours. You can see your stress levels rising as the deadline to finish your memo approached, causing a peak in your beta brainwave activity right before an alert popped up.
Oh my God.
Telling you to take a brain break.
Holy Jesus, this is terrifying.
In your brain activity when you're asleep. It started earlier in the month. You send a text message to your doctor with a mental swipe of your cursor. Could you take a quick look at my brain data?
Oh my God.
Your mind starts to wander to the new colleague on your team, whom you know you shouldn't be daydreaming about, given the policy against intra-office romance. But you can't help fantasizing just a little. But then you start to worry that your boss will notice your amorous feelings when she checks your brain activity and shift your attention back to the present. You breathe a sigh of relief when the email she sends you later that day congratulates you on your brain metrics from the past quarter.
Oh my God.
Which have earned you another performance bonus.
My parents never did that for me growing up.
Jamming
Is that it, or is there?
with your work-issued brain-sensing earbuds still in.
A minute or so.
When you arrive at work the next day, a somber cloud has fallen over the office. Along with emails, text messages, and GPS location data, the government has subpoenaed employees' brainwave data from the past year. They have compelling evidence that one of your coworkers has committed massive wire fraud. Now, they're looking for his co-conspirators. You discover they are looking for synchronized brain activity between your coworker and the people he has been working with. While you know you're innocent of any crime, you've been secretly working with him on a new startup venture. Shaking, you remove your earbuds.
The end.
That is
play, but just watch our say. Yeah.
What do you think?
Look at him giggling in the back.
Ready for?
Oh my God.
You may be surprised to learn that it's a future that has already arrived. Everything in that video that you just saw is based on technology that is already here today. Artificial intelligence has enabled advances in decoding.
Now, so when I first watched this,
Oh my God.
It's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
okay, you ever see that movie Watchmen where the bad guy he goes, I did my plan like 2 hours ago?
Yeah.
So when I looked down at it, it was like 6 months before. Like it had been out for 6 months, about 700 views. So that's about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, let me see what it says.
Now, here's what's interesting about that. The Antarctica guy, I'm talking about the Raytheon whistleblower, he brought this up in his interview. I'll find the video and send it to you, but he brought up in an interview, he goes, remember those articles that came out about how McDonald's is going to beam commercials into your dreams? Uh-huh. And I was like, I do kind of remember that. And I went and looked it back up, and I remember that story came out, and I was like, oh, what a silly, it must be a wacky science news day or something. No, he goes, so his point is, if McDonald's is talking about that technology, you think they don't already have that for quite a long time? Like, oh yeah, of course. Like, of course.
Fucking military has it?
Now, there's another one, order pizza with your mind, 60 minutes.
You shouldn't have told me
Yeah, now
that.
she's into it.
Yeah, baby.
Because when that lady, the Persian chick, talking about that, I went because I couldn't tell from this when I watch it if she was for or against this.
I was going to ask you the same thing.
Yeah,
Which
well,
one?
she looks like
I found videos where she sounds against it.
she looks like she has no soul whatsoever. Like, she could run over a kid and be okay with it on her way to Starbucks.
Well, you know what? We could check her brain data and find out very easily.
Most people have no idea where we're at, do they?
No, this is
Well,
really
how
scary.
could you? How could you possibly know unless you, there's something wrong with you? Like, why you should never even try to look.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I always, have my doubts about, any kind of, secret reptile thing. Because I don't believe in the reptile brain, how people say. And also, it's not a real thing. And you don't have a reptile brain. That's like a thing a guy said in the 60s.
Right.
Yeah.
I think metaphorically. And they ran with it. Right. So reptiles are not torturers, and they're
it's human.
That's primate. Chimpanzees do kind of wild stuff like that.
Yeah.
That just sounds real human to me.
Yeah,
that
real
kind of
human.
behavior.
Yeah, it is.
But metaphorically,
Other animals aren't sadistic for sexual pleasure. I don't think.
Not true. I saw a gorilla rape that frog, remember, and throw it.
But is that sadistic if he's doing it the way?
Well, not with the whole machinery of government behind
He's not
him.
trying to hurt that frog. He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Sadistic is no, the frog has to be.
That's a good point.
Right, exactly.
When
how do we end up with these people on the top of things? Do you think that they're cloned or come down there? What about Antarctica? Some people say that it's Nazis that are cloning evil, soldiers and shit with
I'll
no
bet
souls.
it's like wood alcohol, right? You've got a poison rubbing alcohol so people won't drink it for whatever.
Yeah.
There's some truth to a bunch of it because Nazis are popping up, but they definitely put in a lot of extra crap to make sure you don't hit on it. And if somebody accidentally does hit on it, they got other ways to deal with that, No,
I don't know.
Gary Webb. Remember Gary Webb, the guy that...
You can take that out if you want, you guys.
Oh, right. Oh. That guy who basically exposed CIA was indeed bringing crack into the...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Into the hood.
They killed?
Yeah. And then he killed himself with 2 gunshots to the head.
The Clinton suicide, yeah.
And I was watching something, but a quote he said, he goes, I realized, because he'd worked in the press for a long time, he goes, oh, I must have never reported on anything important before. That's what he realized with the amount of shit that came down because he told the truth about that one thing.
Wow.
So, if there's no aliens, I bring us up to people like your Neil deGrasse Tyson, that arrogant Fermi paradox. You ever see that? The Fermi paradox? I always watch science shows and they go, how do we solve the Fermi paradox?
What the hell is that?
Never heard of it.
A big crock of shit. Enrique Fermi. It's based on Enrique Fermi. I don't know, the physicist. I really don't know a lot about him, but he's famous. And they said he is if there's so many, given the age of the solar system, how young it is, and the time for civilizations, why haven't we seen aliens yet?
Right.
Okay, so number one, that's not a paradox. Okay, and also he didn't say that. It's some rumor about a thing he said at lunch one time, and 20 years later, 2 other guys made this principle that is not a paradox and doesn't make sense. And I watch so many pop science things; they all just latch on to the same pop thing and keep putting it out there. And it's gotten to like absurdity. And, you know, Jason Burmis, the guy who made Loose Change?
Yeah.
Yes. So I was on him. I'm talking to him. I love talking to that guy. But he don't think there's any such, Roswell, there's no alien or anything like that. He thinks it's the Annie Jacobson DARPA book.
Yeah.
Where they told her that, like, well, Stalin, the thing didn't even fly. Stalin was taking, like, deformed kids and pushing them out of a helicopter. Something like that as a psyop on us. Okay. I'm glad we're back into science. And then my question was, like, why would we possibly cover that up if Stalin, a guy who we don't exactly cover for his crimes, we wouldn't tell... And he goes, yeah, he said, the DARPA guy goes, because we were doing the same thing. And I'm like, Jason, my question stands. Why would that stop us? Like, so what, we were doing the same thing? Like, we're yelling at somebody for invading a sovereign nation right now. Right. Why would that not have come out already just to demonize Stalin? And then when they go, you did it too, we just keep lying. No, we didn't. Hey, stop whataboutisming. Of course we would have brought it out. That's a stupider story than some aliens from an infinite universe coming. Like, that's a worse story. That's not a more reasonable story.
Do you think that's stupid that they're... do you think it's a psyop that they are all talking about aliens now? And do you think that that's just another social experiment?
Okay, if it is, hey, how the hell do I know?
Yeah.
If it is, that is so much more insane than if there is aliens to cover up. That's about $1 billion. Right. Just think of the enormity of, like, making up like a George Lucas universe of alien creatures. I mean, just like for the purpose of, like, covering up, like, we need to do a grain deal and somewhere. Like, it's so crazy if that's the level of lie you would tell to do the simple, evil, shitty things we do all over the world. I would say you should be really upset if that is what it is. You should be way more upset than if they're hiding aliens.
I agree 1,000%. Can you guys tell me, because you guys are so similar, this is so fun to watch the both of you. Can you guys explain to me, just stick on Antarctica for like 10 minutes? Because I don't know what Antarctica is. You talked about it.
I didn't know about it either,
well,
but then I started getting it out of people.
Explain it to people, because this is a podcast.
There's several,
There's a range.
There's a range.
Give me the most
reasonable to bad shit.
Give me the most reasonable first, and then we'll move to
reasonable is Admiral Byrd went up there, and there are peculiar laws that apply only to Antarctica, and it's international. And then they've got, like, warm water lakes under the ice, and Admiral
Byrd's like World War II era, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was going to Antarctica to investigate it.
Okay.
And so then we find out so was Hitler.
Okay.
And people say that a whole bunch of Germans went there pre-World War II. And then they sent for something like 46,000 German women to come, and they went.
You got the hardcore story of how they
trade
some people.
Is this the basic one, or this is the hardcore one?
No, this is the secret space program.
Okay, I figured she would start. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
and it's actually a breakaway continent that is a bigger landmass than the whole of North America, and that it is a civilization that's been going on now for almost probably 80 years.
So that's the conspiracy theory. There's a secret.
And then it's a breakaway continent. They use physics, not like they use more Tesla physics.
Yeah, but see, you guys
that's why they have flying saucers and these kind of weapons. Okay. And that's where it's coming from.
So it's Germans, it's the Nazis are in Antarctica producing weapons, and we don't know about it. Okay. That's one, right?
Yeah.
There's
a million variations of it.
Okay. Yeah, there are a million.
And also,
give me.
There's also Admiral Byrd's story where, like, he meets, like, a wise old man with a beard. And that's like, seems like, because I try to look up all of them. Because here's what's funny, because I have to do real news stories because of Jimmy's show.
Yeah, he's on Jimmy Dore show. Who's a genius. I love Jimmy Dore.
Well, the weird shit that you wouldn't expect to, like, trigger a memory of something that you know about that's real is like never what I would think it is. You know? Like but there's so much stuff about Antarctica. Clearly something's hidden down there. And that guy, if you watch his video, he was saying there's no giant hole in Antarctica. The Raytheon has this ice cube detector. He says, like, it emits a green laser into the sky through, and it does measure neutrinos. He's just saying all the other stuff that it does. And his thing, because I always like to not there's always the way to go, but I'll split the difference on a lot of these stories.
Yeah, Occam's razor.
You should hear his.
Okay,
Because it's really interesting. Because then you realize, I mean, if you got this wonderful machine that Raytheon has, you can make all kinds of things happen that maybe didn't happen that you'll swear happened.
Right.
So who the hell knows? But I just do not believe that they came up with that with their innovation. Here's the cuckoo story that and it's because of Jimmy Dore show.
Yeah.
Because the idea, the technology just jumps so suddenly.
Yeah, right.
And it's because our free market innovations. Everybody I know who's big off a free market innovation stole the shit from the original guy.
That's exactly right.
That's what that means.
And I doubt or is going to be great at coming up with more on their. So then you read that Corso. I didn't even read his book, the Colonel Corso book. That's the one that's supposedly all about this. And that's where he says, like, they had stuff. They go, hey, put a patent on this and figure it out.
Right. There's supposed to be like 136,000 patents.
But where are they taking it from? Nazis or aliens?
No, from whatever they recovered.
In Antarctica.
Yeah, and there's a document came out from that whistleblower now about Italy, a weird Italian document about don't talk about that crash.
Okay,
so this before.
Back up. So you're saying that there's technology that already existed in Antarctica that we discovered.
Well, they squirreled everything away that they couldn't get, they couldn't use here.
That's a next level.
Okay, well, that's what I'm trying to.
Okay,
you guys got to inform
What's the
us.
alien shit that you've heard of? Like I had heard of, like Roswell, right?
Of course, yeah.
Something with the
UFOs.
40s, right.
Yeah.
And kind of all that, right?
Yeah,
and the gray.
Mm-hmm,
the grays and the whites and communion or whatever. With
giants, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like always some Bible tie-in. And that's the other thing I get very suspicious of.
But stay on the subject.
So, okay. So
can you believe I said
when
that?
my mom says that, we're in deep shit. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
No, but we want to stay on the subject because I'm trying to follow.
We're trying to inform.
So, by chance, it came up on my YouTube algorithm. I don't remember what I was looking up, but some pops up this guy named Charles Hall.
Okay.
The testimony of Charles Hall, Area 51.
Okay.
He's from like Wisconsin. He's some farm guy from Wisconsin that worked on Dreamland. Area 52 is a weather balloon thing in the desert.
Okay.
And he tells this whole story about meeting extraterrestrials, and he goes, nothing I did was classified. They told me, like, nothing you do is going to be classified ever.
Yeah, because nobody will believe you anyway, right?
Well, not only that, you can't write anything down. So what are you going to, you have evidence or anything? What I think, if it's true and not made up, it would be the perfect way to test out contact with a touchy alien race that regards us as violent gorillas. And the way he described it, this was when I first heard of the tall whites.
Right, so I'm looking it up right now.
Charles Hall, tall whites.
Okay.
I got kicked off this. I'm like, I want to know all the like, if this made up psyop, what is the official lore of their races? I want to know, because you don't really,
alien
you can find
racism.
a Star Trek Klingon versus whatever politics, right?
Right.
So how built out is this lore?
Right.
Because I've only heard of these gray ones, and they're like tall white since the 60s. And then his story, let's say it's just made up because I write stuff. So I just want to hear something I didn't hear before.
Okay.
Right? It's valuable to me if it's completely made up, but it's not hacky.
Yeah, right.
So
he says
a couple
whites.
weird details that he had in his of interacting, but you got to watch it to see,
Well, give me the cliff notes. What does he say about tall whites?
They're like, as they get old, they get taller. Okay. They're very skinny. Their eyes are they could almost pass for human. They're like grays. Paper white skin, smaller ears. They're weaker than us physically. They have like suits that let them like levitate a little bit and have a field where if you threw a rock, it would just like drop at some kind of. This guy has a degree in nuclear physics.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so he figured out. He's saying all the things I'm saying. I had to figure out.
So they're not human.
No.
Okay.
I think what Kurt's saying, you're saying there's aliens in Antarctica that we discovered their technology, right?
Okay, I haven't got to Antarctica. You have to understand.
Yeah, we're still in Antarctica.
Just the tall whites in America.
I love that you're saying
if I just blast you with all this shit at once, it sounds crazy. So supposedly that's who we've been working with the whole time.
Okay.
And he was saying shit about how GE was rebuilding their ships for them. The ships, by the way, are Tic Tac shaped. Going back a while in his story, the way he described it was really funny. He goes, we're as strong as gorillas compared to them. Like, if you touch one of them, they'll kill you. These little pencil-shaped things that, he said it's a microwave emitter, and they could tune it to an element or in your body. So, like sodium, you electrocute.
Wow.
They could hypnotize you with the magnesium by tuning into the magnesium. He said the older people have like a longer one, and just misunderstand. Oh, if you lie to them, they'll kill you. In most of the worlds that were inhabited, once somebody gets one becomes advanced, they kill off every other species generally. And I was like, I've never heard anybody saying space aliens told them any shit like that. So that's either just a good detail of writing. No, and
why haven't they killed us?
We work with them. They're not like how he describes them. I was like, I've heard this story before of like, there's even whiter creatures at the top, like treating us like ape children, like that. He like so, and I can't tell if he consciously is putting that in there because he's faking a story or that's the story. But I could see that being the story. Then I remembered, maybe about 2011 or 12, there was a hilarious article about Iran put out this crazy article about how Obama works with these aliens called the Tall Whites. That's the first time I ever heard the Tall Whites. I had never, ever heard of the Tall Whites
This is the first time I've heard of them.
Wacky McDonald's beaming into your dreams like article. So I was like, oh yeah, the Tall... And then I went back and looked at it. And I'm like... They're like, yeah, Russians just leaked this to the
That
thing.
makes sense to me about Obama.
Either they or a reptilian alien contacted the Nazis in the war through their occult rituals. Now here,
right?
Now
Well, they conjure.
Okay. Yeah, right. Okay,
This
so
is good now.
Now, because I come from a very religious background,
Yeah.
So here's the thing and Jehovah's Witnesses, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, but now that when I go down Bible holes, because there's all these people that are Bible scholars, you can see all their
Right.
So I'm like fascinated by it, and so there's stuff that like for example, we were talking about Lucifer. Lucifer is not the devil's name. It was never. That was some Catholic Iranians or something. It's somebody just put that on it, like what always happens.
Right.
That was it was a metaphor, but it was Saturn, the light bringer, because a bright star. He's comparing a Babylonian king to it. Really, you could just say celebrity, like you're a star.
Right.
You're a Lucifer. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he meant that in general. That is not one of the names of Satan. In fact, Satan, very early on, before they got written down later, was really not a character who just means adversary, because his job is to test, like Job. He's like, God, he's not good. He's trying to trick you. Like, he works for God. That's how that started, that story.
Yeah, I know. They made a big trick on all humans when they said it was a being outside of the body, outside of your own body. Because
well, I think it is that, by the way.
But originally it is an impulse, an impulse in you, a negative impulse in you to make you act negatively. And then they harness that, and then they could manipulate it. But it's an internal enemy.
I mean, it is how we sell all of our products here.
Right?
Like,
hey, the CDC says I should eat 6 cups of fruit and veggies a day. Well, there's 0 chance I'm eating 6 cups of fruit and veggies a day. And I don't have the time or desire to eat 6 cups of fruit and veggies a day. But according to a massive study, people who eat a healthy diet like that live longer and have less heart disease and diabetes and less cancer. Okay. Well, I take Field of Greens, and I'll tell you why. Unlike other fruit and vegetable supplements, each specific fruit and vegetable in Field of Greens was medically selected to support specific functions like heart health, liver and kidney health, immune system, and metabolism. I take Field of Greens to help me stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Yeah, I saw that.
I know.
I take Field of Greens to help me stay healthy. Field of Greens works fast, and if you're like me, you'll feel healthier, have more energy, your skin and hair will look healthier, and it can help you lose weight. I guess I'll have to try it. But the biggest benefit is the better health promise. Take Field of Greens, and at your next doctor visit, if your doctor doesn't say something like, whatever you're doing, it's working, keep it up, return it for a refund.
Joke's on you. I don't even have insurance.
And to help you get started, I got you 15% off with your first order. Plus, get another 10% off when you subscribe for recurring orders. Visit fieldofgreens.com and use promo code RB. That's fieldofgreens.com, promo code RB.
Excellent. I've actually been taking the stuff for real the last 3 days. I've been doing it. It's pretty good.
I'm going to start today.
No, it's good.
It's freeze. They do something that's
it's
you
a
actually
whole
can get nutrients
fruit
out of
vegetable,
it,
and they freeze dry it and then they pulverize it. So you're actually getting 6 whole food. It's real. It's a real deal.
Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
My other friends have it on their podcast.
Yeah.
And they've taken it, and I'm going to start it because they said you won't believe it. You're going to feel really good.
I really do feel. I know it's an ad and it sounds like bullshit, but I really do feel better because I'm not getting enough nutrition with what I eat, and it really does fill in the gaps. They're whole fruit and whole vegetables.
Me either. I'm eating
100% real.
donuts, and they hardly have as much nutrients as you think they would have.
I was telling my friend who was in Iraq, like, if they just got together in like in robes and like drank a baby once a weekend, and that's all they did, that would be. I'd make that deal with them. You could drink a baby once a week in a secret forest. That would be the least evil thing that they're doing in front of your face all day.
Right.
Absolutely.
We had a 20-year devil sacrifice in the Middle East. What in the fuck was that?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I say my friends are soldiers. Like, yeah, what the fuck was that? Like, none of it made any sense. And I went along with it. I lived in New York. I remember everybody's like, yeah, somebody with a funny hat's blowing up. That stupid of a feeling.
Right.
And all the races united in it.
Fascinating. Okay.
Right.
I'm with,
There's
I'm
a
with you now.
blackout right after it in New York. I was there. And, the notorious 70s ones were like, I guess just modern times now in New York. But it was a party. Everyone was just walking around, hanging out, being cool because 9/11 had happened. Nobody had it in them to do a riot after that. It was just being like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked when I turned on the TV and saw the Twin Towers on fire and all that going on. And I thought that it was another planet because it was all these guys in suits and they were handing out water and applauding for the blue-collar first responders. And I go, my God, have I died and gone to heaven where the speculators are actually thanking the people that do the real work?
Well, they're not giving them any money for their illnesses, so that's why.
Well, and I know it was 2 days later where they cut all their benefits.
No, you get a firm handshake and a thank you.
But still, that was a
And now
lot.
you've got cancer, and
That
I
was a
just
lot.
happen to own, we just happen to own all the cancer treatment facilities too, and we'll get rich off that too. But it was all just, don't you think it was all just a big ass insurance scam?
If not literally, then metaphorically, certainly. Like,
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that I think the plots are the most is like that.
Yeah, they're all like that.
They're all like, wait,
but-
is this all that this is?
Yeah, and then people will add Byzantine layers of bullshit to it.
Well,
but
'cause,
it's all
yeah.
the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. There's nothing else to know.
Well, also, this made me laugh. My girl never saw Eyes Wide Shut. Okay? I forgot how terrible of a movie it is.
It's terrible.
I mean, it's like stupid. Not one part of it.
Well,
is good.
because they wouldn't let him do what he wanted to do, and they kept censoring him all through it till he finally went mad and died.
Oh, I just mean I didn't believe Tom Cruise and but the orgy, the rich people orgy.
But she was great.
No, yeah, no,
I believe Nicole Kidman because first of all, I knew she grew up in that kind of a family. I mean, her dad he's one of them.
oh no shit.
Yeah.
Well, okay, the orgy that he goes to, I always want to do a sketch of, remember the piano player with the blindfold? Like, I got to be an Eyes Wide Shut comedian. Like, I got to do crowd work.
Take my wife, please.
But so he's walking through this orgy, and it looks like, I know poor people have better orgies than this. I know that it's just like, everybody's sitting, and then, by the way, you have a mask on, so nobody's getting blown, nobody could do drugs. It's just two people fucking on a shelf while you stand there with the shittiest. Why would you want to listen to that while you fuck chanting? Rock and roll is a devil music you could play that would be way better. Oh, and I was laughing because like even way back when Bohemian Grove came out, right? And I remember at the time I was in Art Institute in Philly. My roommate had the tape of that, and I wasn't impressed. I'm like, oh, they're just corny, like. And because I didn't understand what Like, that's what rich people...
I know what you mean, because I always said that. You mean, I don't want to get in trouble, but I thought, well, Christ, I've snuck into all these secret things, and that's suck. At the end, it's just a bunch of guys wearing dresses and wigs. That's what the whole thing is, like, is a bunch of guys dressing up like women.
Yeah, right.
That's all it's about. Well, what a fucking bore. It's cornball to the max.
That's why you're not welcome there. When I was at the shows, I was saying this at the festival. I'm like, listen, you don't understand. Like, these rich people can't just fuck at the bus stop like you people on the way to this festival. Just twerk in the streets like they gotta go in the woods and all wear robes and take a devil vow just to like fuck a prostitute or be whatever they're.
That's a good point.
They all have to, because they have to blackmail each other.
Right, that's a point.
That's what gets them off.
That's what it is,
here's the ultimate thing that I don't trust.
Knowing that they own somebody's soul. I mean, they do get off on that.
You know, the dark side of the
bullshit matrix.
Well, yeah, the comforting Nathan Lane movie in the 90s gay versus these people you're like, are you gay? And like, no. And I'm like, why would you possibly not say you're gay at this point in time? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not. And Roy Cohn gay, I call it.
Yeah.
I just want the maximum amount of benefit that I could possibly get. And hey, if my very thing that I'm pretending is important, whatever, if that doesn't get me ahead a little bit more, nobody needs to know.
Well, that's a psychopath.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
a little extra credit, motherfucker.
Yeah, who gives a shit who they want to have sex with or what religion, their color they are? They're a fucking psychopath, and that's a thing all its own. Right? I like when everyone rushes to defend a psychopath because they have the same skin color as them. And they think that that's some kind of good thing.
Or if I just really aspire to their success in life that I project my own story onto in some way because we vaguely... under the Census Bureau standards look like each other. Yeah. I'm probably fat and they're way better looking than me. That's me. The shows are all a mirror. Look at it. I'm that handsome guy.
Right?
What?
It's psychopathology. But I don't think poor or working people, they don't have it as much as people who aspire to climb to the top of the ladder. Those guys are all fucked. They're all crazy.
There's a glass ceiling.
Yeah.
So, of where you can go. I saw this guy, Charleston White, saying it, and he's exactly right. There's a glass ceiling of how far you could go if you're not willing to be. And the guy from Brand Nubian, that rapper, was saying this, and he's right. He was to defend somebody. It was like they want to turn you gay. You know, somebody said that about Hollywood, some rapper. But he goes, what he's saying, and when the guy's saying they want to turn you gay, I know what he's saying immediately. Like, it's what's your personal thing that your line, you're going to cross it. Whatever it is, like, what's your line to cross? We need to see you do that. We need it in front of us right now, please.
The thing you think is morally wrong, we need you to violate.
So you probably, most people would not even need to prove themselves that hard by like drinking a full baby. You could prove it by just fucking a whore, or do a line. You could probably do it in biker ways. It's like
but it grows exponentially because of the thrill. Like all them serial killers start out as window peepers. And the thrill, it has to always be new, like chasing the dragon, like doing heroin. Yeah. So they got to have a bigger risk every time. So, of course, eventually it comes to, sacrificing kids and drinking.
Well, I mean, look, if you can't come from...
And especially after Hollywood, after you've won an Oscar, what's next? It's eating a live fucking baby. Are you shitting me? What else is there?
I asked Charlie Sheen that same question, and he wouldn't tell me.
That guy's a real study.
Yeah, I wrote on his roast.
You did?
You guys, last time I hung out with Patrice, and he was very charming, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, he is charming. Yeah, all of them are charming.
No, it's like incredible.
Patrice! My God, how much do we miss that fucker?
Oh, yeah, I think about it a lot.
How genius was that guy?
We just, yeah, very smart, but like he's just on it, like, wasn't right all the time. He's just honest all the time.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's crazy. Yeah, that's what's crazy, is to be honest.
Somebody said once that I heard, I think it was my boyfriend, Johnny, back in the day, says, as honest as you dare. As honest as you dare.
Yeah, right.
Right? Hey, hi everybody. Look I just got my new care package from our good friends at Diet Smoke. As you know, Diet Smoke is the premier source for THC products. I just got this care package, and I think that of all of them, I love the Pineapple Express the very best. With a wide range of strengths and doses, Diet Smoke promises to find the perfect product for you. Whether you want something strong to unwind, or a boost of energy to keep you going, or a lighter option for a mellow high, Diet Smoke is for you. It has cannabis gummies, shots, and vapes. Where's my vape? Each one made to deliver the best balance of flavor and effect. Don't settle for less. Join the Diet Smoke community and discover the buzz that is right for you. That's your constitutional right. Visit thedietsmoke.com today and use the code Roseanne at the checkout to get 10% off and a free full pack of their mystery flavor Ghost Gummies. That's a $39 value plus 10%, and you can't beat that. Diet Smoke, your partner in finding the perfect THC products.
You guys are both so crazy. I love it. This is the kind of podcast I like, is two people in the same mind meld. You haven't got into anything, really.
We haven't got into Antarctica.
Yeah.
Well, you can get into whatever you want. I like the baby blood drinking thing that he's bringing.
So,
baby blood drinking's good.
The lizard stuff where the Nazis met the lizards. Now, if I had to bet where the wood alcohol is probably, because I'm guessing they probably met. The problem is supposedly they can all look like whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, they have trouble holding the human shape. That's what they say.
Yeah, so then it makes it. All these things seem to be liars a lot, you know, but then from there they had the technology to make and they found them trying to make flying saucers.
The tall whites?
No, the Germans, when they met the tall whites, we met in the 60s, I guess, afterwards.
Okay,
wait. So the Germans found aliens, and aliens.
You know, above the White House, that picture where they had a UFO sighted above the White House back in the day in the 40s.
No, but
it's like a famous UFO thing.
Okay. So wait, the German technology.
We gotta go back to
that was German flying saucers, supposedly.
Okay.
Oh.
So do you think the Germans invented the flying saucer, or they were taught by an alien creed, or you don't have an opinion, you're just open-minded?
Okay. Well, my guess is I don't believe in the innovation of all these things. I think people got handed stuff and then patented it. And,
that's what
in real life, without any of the craziness that I'm talking about, we know that we brought a bunch of Nazis here, right? Not just the UFO scientists. We also brought their terrorists and their psychopaths, and we put them in charge of major industries.
Right. Yeah, and the American Medical Association, too.
NASA?
For gynecology, and NASA, and psychiatry.
Yeah, we could have done it without them.
Yeah.
Well, they're obviously pretty good at whatever they were doing, right? I mean, we felt the need.
For mind control, they've done a great job on that.
I think we're under that right now, right?
Yeah, we're under some kind of mind control, at least.
Well, it could be this Alaska. You got to watch the guy talk about what that beam could do. But anyway, so because of this guy, the Raytheon beam guy, talking about what's in Antarctica, I'm like, I don't know this German thing, how far-fetched it is, but there could be some grains of truth to something. I bet, number one, I'm sure there's already an AI that works and is whatever the hell, obviously. Why would you be allowed to play with it on your phone?
Right.
If it's a new...
it works.
When I looked up that woman with the earbuds to see where she stands on this, and I couldn't. Sometimes look like she's against it. Sometimes look like she's for it.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell.
She was saying we've had these machines for a while, these big machines that could do it, but now we're talking earbuds.
Right.
We have the thing we didn't find, but where this kid from MIT, he's like a Mark Zuckerberg, but he's Indian, so it's more diverse and it's better. He has an Xbox player thing, and that. I can't remember the guy's name. He's one of the white guys from 60 Minutes. It's kind of old. He's like, did you just order pizza with your mind? He goes, yeah. And he just sits there. It's like pepperoni. Then there's some girl who's like, I don't believe you. And I'm watching. And the reason it's freaking me out is because after I watched this Persian lady talk about it, she said the way they're going to introduce this is, hey, monitor your brain health. Right. You know, with brain whatever. No, it's dumber than that. It's you can order pizza. I think you get pizza. No.
They've market tested that would work better.
You can read my mind, and you know what I'm thinking is pizza. That's what the guy 60 Minutes is saying.
Yeah.
So that's a really, you know, once you see the first thing and then that, it's really creepy to see how it will be sold to my good friend Big J. I promise you, my best friend in comedy, Big J Okerson, will be the first one to have brain reading earbuds. Like, no, dude, you're not going to pizza with your mind. He will. I'll never be able to talk him out of it.
I was going to say, Mom, you probably will too, right? You're already sold.
Well, by the time that day comes, guess what? There won't be a pizza. You'll think you got one.
I heard some interesting stuff.
Yeah, let's hear.
Okay, but the tall white. So that guy Charles Hall was talking about stuff they had. He said they weren't telepathic. They had a halo thingy they wear on their head, and they could talk into your mind or read, and it looks
okay. So it's technological.
Yes, the thing he's described. So this is what I'm talking about, a real thing, and then a fanciful story. It sounded like, I'm like, this sounds familiar. And I'm just like talking about, I'm like, okay, this sounds like the thing that guy was saying the tall whites had.
Yeah.
Did they give us that technology eventually? And we had to figure, or, you know, like, because that's where, what's the tube? Jeez, I'm so not a scientist.
I know. But
the tubes of light.
Transformer?
The wiring, like, that you use light transfer for your internet and shit. Fiber optics.
Okay.
That's supposedly from that. From the tall whites.
Oh, really?
It's fiber optic. Yeah, that's what they had in their stuff.
All right, so
yeah.
I can
so
trace
that's
your
weird
mind.
that's a thing that's crazy, a brain reading thing. And the way they're talking about the machine, whatever, it sounds just like this guy's story about what these tall whites had.
Right. Okay, so I see what you're saying now.
So you're saying that these...
I do get to it eventually.
40 minutes later.
It takes a podcast.
You're saying that the tall whites are aliens.
Yeah.
They're not human. They're from another, whatever.
Who in the fuck knows?
Plane or whatever.
But they're not us. They're not
us.
Right.
And they're like guides or, teachers or something. They're teaching us.
We're like a base on the way to fix their shit to other shit is how he described it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And also didn't want to help us because we don't want you flying around with nuclear weapons in space. And we're making a deal. And he said there were two like generals that were up when they went to the moon that flew up with them and he saw like the generals coming out of this thing rolling around laughing on the ground because they were up there watching the whole thing in a tall white craft. Tall white wanted to offer to there's plenty of worlds to live on, like people don't even fight on it. It's like we have one you can help us build a base, but they want to control the flight, and we were like, no, we want the technology. And by the way, if it's not alien, these things that they're seeing, I don't think we invented that. I just like, where did we get that from? Anti-gravity probe. Oh, they're not from aliens. So we have anti-gravity drones. We have that now, and you're running your yap at me about my carbon footprint?
Right.
What in the fuck is it like?
Right.
Those things are real, and I don't think that it was just our amazing innovations. That's the part that opens up all the other things. I'm like, oh, the whole narrative is goddamn bullshit. Some motherfucker cheated and set up a fake story about his thing, and that, never mind the government or what, just think of YouTube personalities or celebrities. Like, it's everything. America's a big pyramid scheme. That's how we got that. That's our national scheme.
I totally believe that. I totally can go for that.
It's a stable base. As long as you...
Yeah.
It's really like amazing, and everybody arranges it like.
It's mass formation, mass psychosis, and mass formation.
Why, like Amway? Remember? Do you know anybody did Amway?
Yeah.
So when I was in church, when my best friend in church, by the way, his family, I remember we used to watch Roseanne. They were huge fans of. I would be at their house. So their parents fought a lot, so I'd hang out at my friend's house. So I'd always be at their house. And I remember we graduated high school. These are my congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. We were like 17. He goes, listen, I want you to come by my house later. I got a business proposition. I go, okay.
You know that's a pyramid.
This is my girlfriend. I go, okay. He goes, and where's some, like, dress up? I was like, oh my God, like, does he want me to suck his dick? Why would he possibly? Like, he doesn't want to. Who would start a business with me or him? But whatever, I go over and half the congregation is there and some other people, and there's a guy I swear to God, a white like suit and like a white, like the monorail guy from The Simpsons. That like it wasn't exactly that, but it was like, oh, that white on white really stands out. And you have a bulletin board, and he's explaining Amway, the American way. That's what it's called. Yeah. And he explained how you bring somebody in your network. And he did it with grape clusters. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Does it sound like a pyramid scheme? It's actually grapes. You see this grape talks to this grape. I'm like sitting there like watching everybody.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even get my head around what the business was. I remember I sincerely was like, I guess I should really be like interested in this, because like
you're too smart.
I go, can I just like, because he spent most of the time trashing other brands of toothpaste. Like, they do? Like, what do you use? Crust? Like that shit. Oh, they're the ones that made up the shit about Procter and Gamble worship the devil. That's Amway.
Is that real?
Yeah, they got sued for that. I can't remember the comic's name.
Amway said that they worship the devil. Procter and Gamble.
That's where that dumbass shit. I remember his sister at my hall telling my mom. Yeah, like I was young when I heard that. I'm like, I knew that was not possible. These two old men from the 1800s are like, we're here to say we love Satan.
Now I wonder.
I'm sure that happened.
Yeah, it might be.
No
true,
internet. So then, so I didn't want to do. So I asked the guy if I could just buy tea. I said, you don't understand what this is. I did not. I still don't. Like, what if I want to buy crack, right? And I'm like, can I buy crack? I'm like, well, no, you have to sell crack to your friends and family, and then you will get a shipment of crack. Like, no, I'd like to just be the customer. I don't want to go into the crack business. That's what the fuck it is.
It is. That is what it is.
Did I just suck your dick instead of this? Is it too late?
You getting a downline?
Are people like, how stupid do you think?
It's not a matter of stupid. It's a matter of if you're the personality. A bunch of people could do it. Jehovah's Witnesses I guess a religion that proselytizes is like by nature supposed to be a multi-level. You're supposed to get people in your network, right? But it's not. You're not going to get rich from it,
right?
In heaven, you're storing up treasures.
And tithing.
But there's a creepy arc, and I realize it's not. It's been going on forever because that is the American way.
Right.
Like. There's the sucker level of like, I want to do a thing and then get paid for my service. Right. And then there's like the where you get it level. You're like, no, you want it so people just handing you money all the time because they're invested in you. Like how Sam Harris does. He's got a nice meditation empire of atheist meditation on the side.
Right.
And that's why he sits there saying the dumbest shit I've ever heard from supposedly. Did you ever see these things he says?
Oh, yeah. He's gone off the deep end.
Yeah,
dude.
he went off.
He's off the deep end. He's got a fucking... Dude, if you've cultivated... now that you've made it unhealthy beyond how unhealthy it is to be a celebrity thing of the internet shit of they're invested in you and your personal shit, right? Like, it's all the worst. And you owe them. Now that they represent you, this is why it's so crazy they came up with that shit. Because it's fucked up for the person getting the part. Now you're not a person. Now you're them.
Right.
How dare you do the thing I wouldn't do? Aren't you me? They said you were me. Like that's what that shit is. So you can sit and pretend, like, I don't know, like a baby driving with a fake steering wheel or something, and that's a trap for everybody. It's not just like an honest, like unlike buying crack, an honest interaction. We're supposed to like really hit. Like you can't buy crack. You got to hang out too. That's the business model. We just want everything from you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is that different than TV though, Ma? In the old days, it's not different, right?
It's.
Who can use the new technology to do the thing that we've always done,
right?
And find out how to innovate this. Now I want to steal the same way I've always stolen, or perhaps more.
Right.
So just cut to how you can do this.
And I'll be even 2 steps ahead of everybody, even more because they don't get the technology.
Right.
That I'm using to steal from them.
Not at all. Well, it's been explained to me many times. I think the devil lives in the screen, and I'll just put out. That's where I rest it. No, I'm sure it's good that we all. So all this amazing technology, by the way, where we got invisible jets and shit, amazing the advances, and then on the home front, we have a pocket North Korea that listens to us all day and punishes us. Thank you, pocket. I've been carrying around a fucking
Pocket North Korea.
North Korea are jerk offs because like they have like people that have to like listen on the. Like you don't even have the technology to make them North Korea themselves. This is so much better.
This is such a good fucking point. God.
It's crazy. I like how you said that Ukraine made COVID go away.
Oh, I said it was the final cure. Now I'm not a doctor. I want to make that clear. I just noticed I didn't give a shit about it once Ukraine happened, as I'm sure most of us did.
Yeah, it was Ukraine. Off the news. It was totally gone.
My main thing I'm into now is Ukraine, but I'm looking to get into some other stuff too. Maybe.
I wonder what they'll give us to talk about next.
Oh, now it's going to be yes, be racist to China. We're going to be switching over to a be racist to China mode very soon.
You think?
I'm okay
well, we might have to get in a war with them. They're Russia's good friend.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so
I know.
scary.
We're already at war with them.
So scary.
Why I don't understand.
People will just digest it all. Nobody says anything about any of it.
I hate the people that I'm told to hate, but I just don't understand why we sent all our jobs in viral research to them. To the people we hate the most. Like, why do we send our jobs and viruses there to be worked on? Still no answer that I understand about it. I really don't know what the big game is there because they had a whole crazy ass lockdowns.
We fund it and we get the money. We talked about it with Pasobic on our episode.
Well, we have to pay for getting killed.
We pay for them to develop and then we own it, basically.
Well, here's why I would think.
Because we can't do it.
Jimmy said this, it makes me a little bit. The call is coming from inside the house. All the things.
Right.
Remember the spy balloon?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had my suspicions that it was not a Chinese spy balloon, just because, it was a big school bus sized balloon to Billings, Montana. Is that how they do it now by balloon? Yeah, no. Okay. And it came from China, you say? All the way in from China. Okay. So it sailed over like 8,000. You ever see the map of bases we have between here and China?
Yeah.
Directly surrounding China?
Yeah.
None of them caught the big school bus balloon of spying. None of our many bases even picked it out. No, that's why they use them. They're that good. Balloons. And they sent to, I could have told China everything they want to know about Billings, Montana for $6.
Yeah.
They're the third drunkest city, and they're proud of that. And they're the third best at it. Yeah, that'll help, I guess.
What do you think that was, those balloons?
It was exactly an accidental thing. There was an uncharacteristic. And the reason I know is because, Aaron, we covered it. This is one of the scariest things. Never mind all that. I hope there's something as exciting as off-world Germans. I hope it's that cool. Probably just an FTX kid. We read an article from the Post of the Times, or one of those fucking propaganda outlets, and it said the headline was Chinese spy balloon, blah, blah. And then in the article, it goes on to tell you, the Pentagon saying it's probably not a Chinese spy balloon. In the article.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not the first time. I've caught at least 3 or 4 now where we do I would never read these articles unless I was having the Psycho and Jimmy show ever. So I'm reacting to them. And I'm like, how the fuck is that the opposite? Now, I know editors. I have friends that did all this shit. So the editor picks the headline.
Right.
Like, you don't write, like, and I've seen people get mad at, comedy too, of like some reporter and the headline's like really shitty. And like, no, I don't do that. I just wrote the thing. And then, so, okay, the papers want this to be a spy balloon. Why didn't Biden do something? And Biden's not saying it's not a spy balloon. Because we're all in on this. Eventually, we do have to fight it out with China because they might have a blue water navy. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's
what is it?
Those are boats that can leave their solar system of China. Hillary always talks about it. They're going to have a blue water navy. It turns out America actually controls all the seas.
Yeah, I knew that.
I didn't.
Oh.
I would have felt that was something we could have felt good about if I had been told. I didn't know the whole time we own the sea.
Yeah.
Well,
all waterways.
If China had a blue water navy that could go around, they would have that, and we ain't having that. That's the threat, the whole threat, as explained to me by Hillary. We rule the world. I don't know if you're about the liberal world order.
Oh, I know.
The post, like the really not at all ominous sounding post-liberal world order with a lot of Germans. And, let's be nice and call them Ukrainian war victims from the 40s. Everybody, we were all victims.
All right, so what was the spy balloon, though?
You are on it.
He's dead
on. It was just a fucking weather balloon, and there was an uncharacteristic thing. Okay. We're not going to give up.
But why would we shoot it down, then, if it was just one of ours?
Because Biden was getting shit for not shooting it down. I bet a bunch of them know it's not a spy balloon, except for, like, people I know they're in media. They'll just, spy balloon.
But why wouldn't Biden just say that's a weather balloon?
Because he can't be soft on China. Oh. Okay? They're saying it is, and also, they are going to want to have a war with China.
Right.
So it's like you can't
China owns Biden.
You can't be like anything peaceable. Remember when Trump really fucked up and
by having peace?
Yeah, that was one of the darkest days in American history. They killed one of our drones, and we just let them know it's okay to kill a very expensive drone.
Yeah.
And what's America even going to do about it? Not kill 20 of your 30 of your people?
And Trump did not kill any people at weddings or any of that stuff. You know, he didn't. Mistake. He didn't drone any weddings or bar mitzvahs or.
He didn't even double tap one of them. Did you know the thing it was called the double tap, where when the people go in to help him, then you do them again?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. So I mean, look, when I say that, I think the viewers can see how, hey, maybe Nazis rule us from Antarctica is not as far fetched.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what you're saying.
Before, under Obama, we had a 9 out of 10 of the people we droned were not terrorists of any kind.
No, they were women and children.
That's a bad ratio. That's not collateral damage. That's just damage. The collateral damage would be if you happen to hit a terrorist. Like, I didn't think it was that bad.
No, but don't you think that, like, we'll get in trouble for this because it's true, but don't you think that the whole Obama thing was where they really came at us with anti-logic mind control? I mean, there was some logic to it before him. I mean, it was breaking down all the way.
I did see it, and I took it as, like, oh, okay, so, like, when, like, Reagan's in, then, like, the real loony Bible basher people that they're using and they don't like them and whatever, that's when they get too bold in their social dominance.
Yeah.
And because I just looked at Obama like he's just like Democrat Reagan. I didn't think of that as like a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
I was like, why? I don't understand why they call him in fact, I would be more defensive of him because they would call him a communist and a Muslim. And I would go, President Droney? Like, I mean, I guess he does blow up enough Muslims to qualify to be a Muslim. But ain't nobody blow up as many as us. And
oh my God.
Yeah, like we're rocking all the numbers of on top of the board, and we better because that's I never understood all this shit, man. Like exceptionalism. Mm-hmm. I thought that was some philosophical thing, but no. And around the time of the Iraq Gulf, the second one, they just said no. It means like we could just do what we want. Like we're an exception. They literally transitioned it.
Exception.
They took the metaphor and transitioned it into, that's what it means.
Right.
Oh, that's really true.
Yeah, that's the talent of like your roves and your like, is like picking out like, okay, I know these, how do I trick these people that I look down on and what do they care about emotionally that I know you could just say it. Everybody go, like,
Freedom fries.
Yeah. What would you say?
Freedom fries. Remember Freedom fries? After 9/11?
You know that guy who got that going? We had this lady from Code Pink on.
Oh, God.
Whores.
I got in a fight with her right in the street.
I hate them.
What's her name?
I don't know, but I don't know what her, like all those groups, there'll be, it was, her coming on was like good because they, all these groups get infiltrated by like nonsense people, But anyway, she actually know the guy came to Freedom Fries. That guy ended up, I might be getting this wrong, but I could swear, as you said, he went to like every funeral of every troop that came back. He went to all the funerals, that guy. And it
cool.
freaked him out, and he hated war after that. It's like actually a wild story. The guy that came up with, we're going to call him Freedom Fries. But it's a guy, I know exactly that thing where you believe in the thing.
Yeah.
And you did. Then you realize, like, oh, you're kind of a problem if you really believe in it.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You're supposed to have this sense to, like, turn a blind eye.
Well, I think that's a lot of religion, too. It's like, what? You really believe it? Oh, you're crazy. You're supposed to...
It's a good thing I'm not Jehovah's Witness. I'll be a very disruptive... We're not trying to be a dick, just excited to talk about the thing, and it wouldn't be good for the congregation.
No.
My sincere interest is not good for the group.
I found that out in my religion because I say, oh, but, this and that and the other.
What was
and they're
it?
like, well, I'm a Jew. So they're like, huh? Wait a minute. Are you saying... you don't really believe that? Are you saying
right.
you really believe that? Well, yeah. Don't you? Well, no. It's just stories.
Well, are you saying this at like a temple or something? Like,
yeah, all the time. And
that's what makes it weird.
Groups.
It's not like at your house saying it. You're at the thing and like, what? Oh, you believe this? Like, why are we coming here?
Everything, like in the family at holidays, solemn occasions. And they say, well, this and that and the other, and they're like, what? You don't really believe that. Like, well, because I quote, well, what about this scripture, blah, blah. What?
Who's bringing scripture to this religious
Well,
holiday?
because you got to... Also, that, I used to date this girl that was Israeli and, like, not like reform, I guess you'd call it, but she'd been on, like, that trip to... where they try to get you to like get pregnant to populate Israel. You know that trip that Jewish kids take?
Birthright.
Birthright. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. To get pregnant?
It's like putting you. They pair you off, and they're hoping that you'll fuck.
That you'll get married and.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't know that.
I mean, the closest thing I can relate it to is when I went to prom, and there was like a bunch of kids, like their parents got them hotel rooms. I'm like, are you trying to get them?
Oh yeah.
It's something like that, but I guess there's a demographics race going on in the area. No, it's
now,
crazy.
listen, before we wrap up, because I know I can see Jake's wrapping us up.
No,
you got to wrap up the Antarctica shit.
Yeah, let's wrap up the Antarctica. I like that.
Well, I will do right now. That guy said that direct energy weapon that he says accidentally caused the Christchurch, New Zealand earthquake.
Oh.
A friendly fire incident.
What about Maui?
Not only that.
Say again.
The Christchurch, New Zealand.
The guy
from Antarctica.
The guy you were talking to.
I wasn't talking to him. It was that video.
No, you saw the video. Okay.
He said, not only is that a direct energy weapon, that the Christchurch, New Zealand earthquake was from that as a friendly fire incident. I mean, best case scenario. And also, they can project things into, like a voice into your head.
Yeah,
voice
I knew
to
that.
skull.
Voice to skull, yeah.
And then I started laughing when I was watching it. I was like, oh, there's a clown beam from Antarctica. That's why all this shit's like this. Somebody from Antarctica beaming clown messages into your head. Why do you think it's Clown World? Like,
it's a brain scramble, right? It's a brain scramble.
The guy interviewing, what are you supposed to do about that? He goes, you just got to know yourself. And I was thinking about that because if you have a certain thing where you're like, I already left a religion where you get like this fellowships, right? Mm-hmm. I already had like a thing in me where I'm like kind of like a dick of like, well, fuck you. Like, so especially if I think they're not doing the thing that they said they're doing, and I don't have any fear about my social standing at all. Like, I'm like, that's not me. But I have a bunch of friends of mine. I know somebody that like got pressured into going on a gay date with this girl, and because she got guilted, like liberal guilted. Real Hollywood kind of shit.
She got guilted to go on a date with a woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you probably know 2 or 3. I mean, I'm sure everybody out there. Just people that don't, especially in this kind of shit, the amount like you don't know yourself even, or like what's going to make you happy or any of that. And you're entirely, like Sean Penn is going to be defined by this.
By the Chapo.
By this amazing Ukrainian documentary.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like you can see how these people.
John Cusack too, who after you, I always said after you scratch somebody like that, a real liberal activist type, real lefty, after you scratch down deep enough, there's always a fucking Nazi there.
Why do you say that? But why?
Because they're,
not that I don't believe it. But
well, they're all the same. I mean, they're book burning censors and fascists.
It's
although
all the
they
same.
call it progressive or whatever, but they're always trying to stick their nose in somebody else's fucking business, especially if they have a different belief system than them.
It's a genuine,
they can't stand anybody who thinks different than them. They just want to hear their own fucking opinion over and over and over.
Well, they got to be told what it is, a lot of them. And then I think a bunch of it is just...
Yeah, they're like, well, the Nazis are freedom fighters and they're the future. And, you know, they think right and they know that... I don't know what they think.
Azov...
Everything's the Jews' fault. Okay.
First of all, Zelensky's Jewish, so how could they have a problem with Nazis? That's the retort. But Zelensky's
That's
Jewish.
what they always say. Like, they say that about Obama, too. Well, he's black. Yeah, but he presided over the death of the black working class and middle class. He presided over that like I knew Hillary was going to preside over the death of women's rights. So that is why they're there. That's why they're there.
Yes.
Because the owners put the right person in the window. So, you know, they have plausible deniability. But they're always the worst.
Yeah, you want the prettiest face of the thing.
Yeah, but they put them in there to protect them, so you can never talk about racism if it's a black guy there.
Well, no, you could do it if it's not racism. Then you should definitely call racism every single time. Then you should ignore any actual...
Fact.
So here's we did a story about some group, black...
They like to call it racism when it's really class war. They really like to do that.
Oh, that's what I'm getting at. Yes. So I don't know when. I remember I started seeing online, but a bunch of these dipshits say this, that classism is downstream of racism.
Not.
No.
Yeah, right.
It's the other way
You know,
around.
like how a dog is a kind of German Shepherd. It's much the same. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, we just arranged it so that way so Kamala Harris can imprison more slave labor unjustly that's black.
No shit.
Like, all that shit's a big crock of shit,
It's
obviously.
all a crock of shit. And you're being played,
But-
and people are like, well, you know, and then they defend it. And it's like, you're going to lose your house tomorrow. Did you not notice that?
All you got to do is be honest and not... When I had all the media try to get me, I remember, for a week, and I mean...
What
was wild.
Why did they come for you?
First degree # not believing women right when it first came out. And I said they shouldn't handle rape accusations over social media. There was an announcement made that UCB has done an internal investigation and determined some guy that I don't know is guilty of rape. That's a real post. Mike Shea had posted it and was like, God damn, call the police. All right. And I saw him like, what in the... So I saw it in his thing. And all this blowback started coming at me. And then, because I was definitely an addict to that shit, I would engage with people like like an old person who thinks they're talking to the Prince of Nigeria.
Yeah.
I'd sit there.
Yeah.
No, I gotta settle this.
That's mom now. She does that
I'm
on
like
Twitter.
that, yeah.
It's made to make you fucking crazy.
That's what
and
I
I would
say.
be crazy. And I was like, well, this is how I write jokes. You know, it's like I'm just putting my process. If you don't like it, don't look at. Like all kinds of shit that I'm an idiot, didn't understand what the whole thing was. So people, and what I also didn't understand, it's not just like some government intelligence agency doing shit, although they definitely do that.
Yeah.
It's also just nobodies on their own time.
Yeah.
Private intelligence.
Yeah.
And like just for funsies until one of the big ones say, hey,
Well,
you're
they
doing good
think
work.
they're assuming the role of the inquisitor. They identify with the aggressor.
Or they're just fucking with you, or they're not even the person. There's so many
there's
tricks that of a thing
There's
you can't
that,
see.
too.
But what was happening is this was the beginning of the consulting class of dipshit feminists that
Oh, yeah.
and this is why I fully support trans women and being better than women is because of how it killed feminism. That's why I love it so much. God bless you, women plus community. I love it so much. It destroyed because that's when you really see the split of who's a lesbian that has experienced some real abuse in life and who's just some bourgeois chick that's into this whatever Gloria Steinem type.
You do see that.
And then they split, and then that's how you know classes before everything is how they split. Because all these do, like, you're a turf. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh, they all called me that because I stuck up for kids in a sauna with a woman who wouldn't cover her penis.
In L.A.?
Yeah. No, this was in Oregon.
Francis.
Oh.
It was in Oregon.
There was one that happened here in L.A.
It happens all the time.
By the way, those are all ethnic and minority women who goes to a spa like that where some guy will wander. It's like a minority brown women place, and a guy who was. It was a California story. I think Antifa went to protect the guy. Yeah. The guy was going to flash people. It came out later.
Yeah, of course.
That's the guy talking to.
That's what it always is.
Right.
Well, this woman, she wouldn't cover her penis, and it was 6 to 8 year old girls at softball team.
It was not.
And I said
16. I always wanted to correct you on
no,
this.
they were 8 to 16.
It's 16. It was the high school volleyball team on the college campus.
Well, it's all important information for all ages to know how the better women.
I meant to tell you
there's better women coming out. You might as well see. The good.
Well, they are better at sports, the trans women. Like JP.
The highest paid CEO of a company.
I know.
Is a trans. The highest paid woman is a trans woman of a
I know.
CEO.
The greatest Jeopardy champ woman is
killing it.
Yeah.
It's just great. I think it's fantastic.
I
forgot that joke when I was doing my act. That my advice to today's woman.
Which one?
Is to keep your penis in your pants,
keep your penis
that's my.
I mean, I hope you have one.
Yeah, if you're anybody, if you're going to be anybody.
I mean, I guess wash your bonus hole. I don't know what to say.
Oh, the bonus hole thing really gets me.
Tell them your theory on bonus hole, because I love it.
Well, bonus hole is a pedophile term because, pedophiles, they can't have sex with little girls because they have a little tiny vagina when they're little. So the pedophiles' preferred orifice is the mouth and the anus. So that's why they call it the bonus hole, the vagina.
It's from
it's right there in your face. They're putting all their nasty shit right in our face.
It's from a Disney Pixar movie, believe it or not.
It is, absolutely. But, I mean, it's right in our face.
Did you see? No, well, here's an example of one that I laughed so hard when I saw a video. Was that dude James O'Keefe had, I don't know who, he's talking to the headmaster of a Chicago private school. It's like $40,000 a year. Mm-hmm. And somehow he just brings in queers, they bring butt plugs and dildos, and the kids play with them. Mm-hmm. I thought I'm watching a sketch. Like, no, they're making fun of, and he goes, well, do you think parents are mad? Why are they mad? It's queer sex. It's like, so I'm first of all, okay, who needs to be taught to use a butt, like $40,000 a year? Your kid can't figure out how to use a butt plug without, just pick a hole. You did it. Like, you spend that kind of money for your kid to learn how to use butt plugs? Like,
really good.
That's a private school. Those Montessori, or what, maybe it's not the same thing, but those kind of schools, that's where they started trying all the wacky shit first.
Yeah, that's right.
Annie Letterman, my ex, went to some wackadoo school like that, where it was like some abusive, and like, I think it's still open now.
Well, they started all that pedo shit there in the private schools.
Well, it starts with the fight, like, you can scam. Oh, we do our own thing, and like, oh, Will Smith. Wait, was it Will Smith? Who made that school where it was like a Scientology kind of on the down low? I think it was Will Smith's school.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you got the money, you could be like, I should just teach school. Or that FTX kid where he's like, you should use the money and calculate the best number of good. Like, all things are numbers, and you can, and you just, like, what do you call it? Remember that train experiment that test, the train's going to run over some on the tracks or everyone will die?
Yeah.
And, like, it's for that kind of, and these people just, they just think about, like, okay, but how can I make it look like Russia did it so I can, like, they think way ahead. They think ahead of the thing. That thinking, it's always being repackaged like it's some new, whatever, wealthy altruism, whatever the fuck. It's just like, I'm rich, I should. So Carnegie, I guess, is the guy that made our schools. Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, our regular schools aren't good the way they're set up. Like, they're set up so you work in a factory. I didn't know how explicit they were about it. I knew that, right? Mm-hmm. It's just to teach you to show up to the factory at the right time and whatever.
Exactly.
How to sit.
I took it as like a George Carlin summing it up kind of thing. I didn't know that they wrote, we don't want them being artists or something. They'll be the labor force we need.
Yeah, docile.
That's the shit that shocks me now, is how much is explicitly written because they're not thinking it's bad at all.
No.
Like, Hitler lives inside you, it turns out.
It is an internal thing, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, how much can I get?
Yeah, you're supposed to go. The House of Cards, when that came out, the American one, and I just remember like it went from a weird, like interesting crimey thing they got for me into like almost like a West Wing for the new generation. You know, like that unbearable Aaron Sorkin show.
Oh my God, that guy.
Yeah, the 90s.
Sorkin.
The 90s fucking Rob Reiner. I wish Jedediah Bartlett was our president. Whatever the fuck. That. So their fucking kids now are like a darker version of that. And oh, by the way, not aliens, just people who have been told. Think of how stupid Sean Penn. Like, if you think celebrities, I would say, are degenerates and whatever, they're like the most polite, sincere, earnest people compared to the government people.
Yeah,
who are the same level of partying, but an actor at least, you expect a little bit of craziness. The lengths they must go to do like the shit they're definitely doing.
They're definitely doing. I mean, biolabs.
They're just defensive. You see, it's not, I don't want you to say any Russian propaganda right now, but we have biolabs, and we don't want them coming in and stealing all the dangerous cures to diseases we've been developing. We're just making this innocent cures of diseases labs, and like they're going to get all our research.
How are we going to survive all this shit?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, Jehovah's Witnesses, the highest numbers they've ever done is right now, because that was the whole religion was about.
And what? The world?
The time of the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
But my thing is, in America, you think in Iraq, it didn't... The Jehovah's Witnesses over there, you didn't think it might seem like Armageddon to them?
Right, no.
But I live here.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe how shitty this is. Well, I don't know if you know how pyramid schemes work, but they eventually collapse.
Yeah, that's so right. I think that too.
Yeah, well, you got to... I used to joke about it.
You can only, fuck every other country over till you run out of countries to fuck over, and there's only years left.
We need immigrants to form the base of our Herbalife pyramid.
So what's the next step? Let's wrap it up.
I need more people in my downstream.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm excited about. There's new people to get downstream of my sales funnel at the border.
Next, after the pyramid collapse.
I don't think
I think that is what they're doing.
We need to get on the next pyramid scheme then. We need to get on the next one now, after this one crumbles.
It was too late for me.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Yeah, let's give a hopeful message.
I thought God was going to kill you guys all 20 years ago, so it's really awkward for me.
Do you think that you think this is the end though, huh?
When Trump got elected in New York, I remember people going like, "Oh my God, this is going to be the end of the world." I was like, "Yeah, well, they say that, but like 20 years go by, I'm still looking at all you people like get your teeth fixed, don't put it off." Regardless, I would say do the, just in case, get them fixed now. Jehovah's Witnesses had that. 77 is the big one. When I was born, 77, that was their big, like someone predicted it, and like it's murky as to what was predicted and by whom. And because you're not supposed to say when it's coming. You're supposed to say it's coming, though.
But yeah, well, it seems like it is.
Well, they told me, I mean, the only thing I can compare it to is from when I was a kid at the same time, then when climate change is going to kill us.
Yeah.
Right.
And Jehovah's Witnesses are a lot less wacky with how much Armageddon's coming. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not smart enough. Hey, maybe it is. I don't know. I suspect what it is too late was 20 years ago, and they do know that. And you're going to eat bugs, and it's just for them. And
food's just for them.
Because carbon footprint, BP made that up. The people who ruined the Gulf made up carbon footprint. Like when the football players beat their wives and tell you not to beat your wife on TV. The BP. Oh, what's your footprint like? Did you fucking poison the entire Gulf of Mexico
for like a month straight, nonstop?
I know. We gotta stop. Then.
But I mean, people buy it. It's just infuriating.
Marketing. Well, they're good at it.
You don't have to fucking. I don't like looking stuff up. I like to know, because that's why you're either a dog or a pig. Like the dog, you can knock the ball with his nose into the hole and enjoys the game, right, and the treat, and the pig just picks the ball up and drops it in the hole because he understands what it's all about, getting that treat. So if you don't understand, like, for a bunch of people, the game is like not the game. It's just like, what do I get out of this game? And I'll go do another game. I just want the points. You know, I'm not like some idiot that would sit here playing baseball or whatever. Or get brain damage. Like, the real game is watching what I get off of this. And some people have that and don't. I think as I'm not math oriented, I don't have it as much. But, you know, I don't think it's an ethnic thing. All kinds of people just think like that. More now, what with all the climate change caused autism out there.
There's just nothing we can do but just laugh it to scorn, I guess, huh?
I mean, I was going to do that anyway. That was my plan the whole time.
Yeah, that is.
Before I even, back when I thought, I was like, all right, what am I going to do? I was with Barry Crimmins. We almost died in a car accident on tour. And because the idiot driving, we were on black ice going through Pennsylvania. And we're next to a semi-truck, and he's going 65, the speed limit, but on black ice. And we're just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, the fucking, like, we're getting sucked into a jet engine next to this trailer. Okay, so I'm in the passenger seat, and Barry's behind the driver. And I was like, what? And I said, what the fuck, like 2 times. I just remember exactly, it wasn't slow motion at all. I just went, what the fuck? And I'm looking at the thing, and I was like, oh, I'm dead. Like, and right at that second, we swerved the other way, and the back where no one was sitting, that got pulled in, and we went back out. And dragged us down the highway, and the glass blew in. Shit. And spun us, and we spun out in the middle of the thing. And I remember I was sitting there, me and Barry were like high. We were like laughing, and the driver was weeping. Well, because I was sure I was dead. And it was so weirdly comforting. You know, I thought I was going to die a bunch of times, but a lot of times it was my fault, you know. But this was like so out of my control that it felt so comforting. I was like, it felt like a vacation. That accent, it goes away, the appreciation of all that. But once a year, if I think I'm going to die and don't, that would really be a lot of relaxation. But you got to get me so I really think I'm going to die. Like, I can't. No, I'm not.
I think I've been there.
It's just the feeling that it's out of my hands and not my fault or anything. And that's not how shit works.
It's very comfortable.
Shit works for let's say Nazis don't run the world from their colony on Mars. But then you still get fucking cancer and can't pay for it. Who gives a shit? Like,
yeah.
What is all this? Just tell me all the fun stuff. I might as well know about the lizards or whatever the fuck. If you're gonna be fucked either way, like, I'd rather know all the things. Right. Like that. It's like if the Earth is flat. Can you imagine how much that would not change my life on any level? Like I can't even tell you it's not. I do not have the science to back up.
Yeah, none of it fucking matters. We just gotta, like.
So is there no hope, or is there a lot of hope?
Just don't be a fucking
asshole.
Don't be a mooing cow for 5 minutes. Okay. Start with that. I don't know.
No.
Like,
yeah,
that's what that Canadian Parliament. He fought in World War II.
Oh my God, unbelievable!
And they're trained to be a docile race. The Canadians. There's only a few that have the salmon, Ryan Long salmon that jump out of the thing.
Yeah. Like,
that is like, oh, it wouldn't be polite. That's how you get molested, is being polite. Did he just say I got to do what? Like, how about just try to start with that? Because, you know, all the weird, your kids, like, we're going to have this drag queen read to your kid. And I'm like, is that different from church? Like, a guy in a dress reads a boring book to your stupid child? Is that... Also, if you're Catholic, you really feel you should be the one... like, you got to look out for pedophiles, yeah? Are they behind me? Were they behind me the whole time and I'm not looking?
Oh, good point.
Jehovah's Witnesses' highest lawsuit is against them, not Catholics. The most in American history. Most,
yeah.
And it's because, I think it is something really shameful. And it's because they didn't go, it's not because of an authority figure they did it. It's because they didn't go to the cops. They didn't report it. They just, because the real sin, and here's a great thing about the Bible. This is why I do get a little annoyed at people who try to pretend we got an ultimate Star Wars battle out of there. The real sin of that is not the molestation of the child. They're not married. That's the true. You understand that, don't you?
I do understand that.
That's as bad as being gay. You think I'm like, okay? They don't like to say it a lot, but that is literally what it is. So like Isaac's daughter, what's her name? I thought it was Dinah, but it's like Dina or something.
Dina.
Yeah. And, she doesn't stay in the tent with her good people and goes in the city with her worldly friends. And then Shechem, that's not how you say it, but he sees her and then forces her to lie down with him. And then, so God damn it, Dinah. And then he's really falls in love with her though during the raping this random woman. Falls deeply in love and he goes to her father. I'm the guy that raped your daughter in the city today. I'd like to marry her. And says like, oh, thank God. Okay, look. Okay, thank you, because I thought I was going to have to kill her myself. He goes, I'll tell you what, we'll make a covenant. You marry my daughter, no hard feelings, okay? There's not that many, knock the dents out. Got to pound it out with a mallet. And then just you and all the adult male members of your household must be circumcised. And I was like, all right, well, that's weird as shit, but okay. My whole family will have our dick skins cut off because I raped your daughter and then we'll get married. I'm paraphrasing it. This is those details.
Yeah,
okay.
I get it.
And then, so they do, okay? I guess he really loved her. Okay, and then her brothers. So then after the dad gets it all settled, their righteous dad, the two brothers like, what in the fuck is it? They're probably like, what are you doing? Was our sister a whore? So they go and kill every male while they're recovering from their adult circumcisions. They're all laid up. Like all the guys that don't know nothing about this rape of this guy's daughter just say, why do I do this? Come on, man. I'm really in love with this girl. I just work for you. I'm not even a family. So he's just sitting there and he's going to kill everybody like a Monty Python thing. And Isaac's like, what are you doing? Then now everyone's going to, I had it all worked out. And they're like, is our sister a whore for you to sell? Now, okay, at the end of the story of my book of Bible stories, these are the details of it that, they didn't say them to me this way, but those are the the guy, the narrator goes, all because Dinah had bad association. The great wisdom from the stars that wrote that shit is locked in a heavenly battle to this day with lizards. Is everybody fucking crazy? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Nobody read the damn book. Nobody. I had to a lot. Not because I wanted to, but it makes me laugh when I see how the story's really. I think it's Isaac. I always want to say Abraham, but it's not Abraham, that story.
I can't remember.
Or Jacob.
Who
Who cares?
It's all fascinating.
It's all worth studying, but I just am like, I will never trace it to Atlantis and like
Lemuria.
That's like monkey country. That's
Lemuria.
what that means. Because lemurs they thought were there. You know what Lemuria the name?
No, is that right?
It's named after lemurs because they thought they couldn't figure out why monkeys were somewhere and somewhere else. There must have been a land bridge called and the guy called it Lemuria. That's where that came from. And but it's just based around that at first. And there's all this stuff added onto it. There's probably some sucking continents, I'm sure, everywhere. But every time people try to connect all the things, like, I don't mean connecting the dots because I do a lot. But I mean, like when you try to retcon the universe of like, and then Batman fought Superman. Like, you're like, okay, how many cinematic universes are involved in this? Like, and then Atlantis, and they talked to Moses, and later Jesus was stopped by the machines.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, because everybody mingles them together in one thing. But I'm sure there's grains of truth in all of it, and the ones that are true are because so many things are things I would scoff at, smugly. Then I'm like, are you shitting me? And I'm like, now I feel like a sucker if I ever do that, I feel like a sucker if I believe the thing now.
I just go deeper and deeper and deeper. I go deeper into it because it doesn't make any sense on the surface.
Well,
so I go deeper and then go, oh, this is this is the hidden gem here, because they can't just come out and say something that has common sense to it, because people would reject it, the common sense of it.
Yeah.
So they have to put layers and layers of stuff to make you think your way.
But it's not just one. I didn't understand this. It's not just one person. So the sacrifice your son, Abraham, to God, and the angel goes, "Don't." And Louis had used to have this joke about how and it is a crazy story. The last minute he goes, "What are you doing?" No, I didn't say do that. And people have, well, the original version of the story before it got written down after the Second Temple was he did sacrifice him. He came down alone from the mountain. That's how the story ended originally, because guess what? All the Canaanites and all them all did the same kind of shit. And Yahweh, which is, no one knows how to pronounce it. Everybody says they have ancient knowledge. I want to know how you pronounce that, because I know nobody knows how, because they didn't have the vowels in the word. That's an Americanized thing, like every other goddamn thing.
Yeah,
But so it's really interesting that what we learn from it. And then, so one particular sect really ultimately, it's something to do with the 2-tribe kingdom of Judah was like the good. So it's Judaism, right? As opposed to Israel. Mm-hmm. But they had they didn't have that's the retcon, is the monotheism part of it. And it's almost like a corporation that became a...
It is.
It's like different wrestling towns, and then like some Vince McMahon got all the wrestling into one like international thing. And like, I don't know, you could see the pyramid blocks.
It was a lot of diversity coming together to... It's all about, the one thing that nobody ever says, the thing that I like, is the history of how diverse peoples, because there was a lot of tribes, it wasn't just one, but diverse peoples created law. That's what it's about. How they created law and a system of laws that became, how they did that in community, which we still haven't figured out.
Well, yeah, that's everybody. If you travel around, you're like, everybody does the same shit, but like, what do you make laws about? Is the where it?
Yeah, they couldn't figure out, where do I stop and you begin? They couldn't go even that basic with it.
Well, yeah, right. Well, that's the other thing, is I didn't understand the property, how much of it's like property right issues, and so like. My ex's parents were Hebrew scholars, and so Christianity is more like about Jesus, because he, and then Judaism is more about the law. Mm-hmm. This is why very like legal. I didn't know this. I thought I knew all this stuff, but I didn't, because I didn't understand that there's been an actual Judaism interpreting these stories, for years, like lawyers.
No, people don't know that.
Not at all. They're like, and it's very interesting how legal it is, and then like. Stuff that I would think is unreasonable we would do as Jehovah's Witness, a bunch of Jews are like, that's not what that is. It's like endlessly arguable.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of Haredi rabbi channels, because I'm curious of the interpretation. I've heard every goddamn interpretation of all these stories now.
Well, that's cool.
Well, because then you can start comparing them.
Mm-hmm. And kind of figure it out.
You figure out more than you knew before once you start comparing them. Like because you don't, like I said, they didn't give us context. So you thought of it as like just basically the same people.
Yeah, the context has been removed for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know.
The whole historical context has been removed. That's what really gripes me, because it's like, well, did you know there was a war going on then?
Yeah, once you don't have that, now you just have a myth.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not.
Right.
If I don't have the actual, how they taught, all the history part of it, then it's a myth automatically. Because you just tell me a story.
Yeah, you don't just rip somebody's you don't just rip out somebody's culture and separate it from the actual goings on in that culture.
I mean, you do, and you can, and it's very profitable if you...
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know what...
But then you're missing the whole friggin' story.
Yeah,
you're
right.
missing the whole thing.
Not...
and I think we're missing the whole thing. I really do. I think someday, if we ever get any common sense about us, we'll understand things that are hidden now. That's why I was excited with computers, that they would. But what did they do with computers? Figure out a way to bullshit us more with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it's not even hidden.
They didn't help us like think better or do better.
No.
They figured out how to make us believe more bullshit. what should we wrap up with our final thought?
Yeah, give us some message to
something.
your peoples listening.
Laugh, laugh, laugh. That's our message, right? You gotta laugh at everything.
If you just don't lie to yourself one day for 5 literally just don't be like a punk on some level, and it'll be like, when you hear something crazy and you're like, oh, do I have to say this? Maybe don't say I don't care if somebody's wrong. I don't care if they're absolutely wrong. If I think that that's how they are, I'm great.
Yeah. And you, Ma? I love that. Don't be a idiot.
If you don't don't be like, oh, but my career.
Right. Yeah.
At every level of society, if you work as a fucking barista, you're supposed to worry about your fucking career.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
When do you punch out, I guess is my message. Do you punch out of work ever?
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, that all these ops that the Democrats got to do their dirty business for them,
Sure.
a lot of them are black people that work for, in the... as clerks in the government.
A lot of them were Republican just a few years before. All these people
but I'm
are
saying a lot of them will go like, well, I got to get my retirement. I'll do it because they asked me to, because I got to get hanging there for my retirement. When they find out that their retirement went to Ukraine, my God, they're going to be
I said the
pissed.
same thing about when they're going to shut it down, but still fund Ukraine. I hope they shut the government down and don't pay the people that work there, and then do pay Ukraine. That would be better than a nuclear war as an escalation.
Yeah. I think that is what they're going to do. And you know what else they're going to do? Because I read it today. They're going to bring the fucking draft back. So all those kids that were doing all that rioting and all the other shit that they set them up to do instead of giving them jobs with a future, which they could have done cheaper, they're going to draft their ass and send them to war.
It's going to be just like the show MASH from the 80s, and you're going to be a Klinger in the dress, and you won't be able to get out just like Klinger. You won't be able to gay your way out. No, that's gayer. Go even further.
Well, that's who they're going to draft. No, they're going to draft all the kids that, I loved that they started telling these black kids it's okay to loot the stores the same time they were setting up the facial recognition cameras.
That you at the airport, you go to that store where you loot it, the new store, the Amazon store. So you just go with your phone through the gate, like you scan your phone, walk, and just take stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're going to arrest them and then say you got to go to the Ukraine and fight, and they're going to do that to the.
You think they're going to Buffalo soldier the people to Ukraine?
Antifa and BLM, yeah, they set them up for it.
Well, it sounds crazy, but it just might work.
I'm telling you, I know how they think.
Well, no, it sounds very much like a thing.
I worked in Hollywood, so I know how they think. They always are 10 steps ahead in the evil.
Yeah.
How to use people, harvest them, get their organs, drink their babies, whatever. It's always that. How do I get what I want or need? But they don't
usually
have...
from Haiti.
Huh?
No, usually from Haiti. You know we do in Haiti.
I know. Where Sean Penn went over there, too.
Did he?
Did you ever see his interviews from Haiti?
No, I didn't even
Oh, my God. Treat yourself to that. Treat your fucking ass to that guy. Who do you think is the number one guy in charge? Over all of it.
Well, number one, I don't know that it's a man until I find their gender. Until they tell me their gender, I have no idea.
Point taken, sis.
But here's where I would start.
Are you a man?
I like to play that close to the vest so that in case I need to advance in.
I hear you.
It changes,
Well, I'm taking the opportunity to say I am a man.
Oh, good call.
I want to be addressed as sir.
Well, yes, sir, and I don't think that's too much to ask.
Thank you.
Of your son and my girlfriend.
Now, let's continue.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So,
I have to ask you these questions.
But here's what I think.
The guy at the top is, the tippy top of the pyramid is, the tippy top of the pyramid is.
I don't know. I never thought who there could be one at the tippy top. I imagine it's a big eyeball. No, I always imagine it. I never break those particles down past.
Did you think it was a group?
I think it's who's like the oldest money and not whoever they tell you the richest is, because nobody's going to tell you that. And also, you start your search with who like inbred the most for some reason, like pharaohs, and also
Bing. Yeah. You know how they make a pharaoh?
No.
Since time eternal? How? A brother and sister mate.
Oh, yeah.
You knew that, right?
You keep it pure. Huh? You have to keep it pure. Well, that and the DuPont family. So I just go like, who has a huge history? There's videos you could see, and it's just like.
Well, don't you think that all tribal people are pretty incestuous?
Yeah. That's how you have a lot of inbred subsets of a small population that live through whatever is what it is. So automatically. But to do it extra beyond all belief, that's where because, in Saudi Arabia, I'm sure there's still a lot of cousin marriage going on. When, Darwin famously, his plants, he realized like, oh, these plant cousins don't look good, and that might be why his kids are not. And he turned in his findings or something, and they didn't want to even talk about it because it would invalidate like 70%. Not even just the rich people marriages, like 70% of just the marriages were cousins, because that's just how you did it. So then I'm like, so did the aliens really pass on this flawed an understanding of DNA? Like, and when I read ancient Egyptian myths, they're kind of hilariously about sperm on air. Like it's just crazy. You're like, they built the pyramids with their technology, and then you read the story, and it's like some guy, he jerks his uncle off and throws it in the Nile, and his mom cuts his hands off. Like, that's the mythology. Have you read it?
Yeah.
It just that makes it like, because you don't see that on Ancient Aliens. Like they just show you the handbag. The guy, like this looks like this, but the actual story is so much crazier than a Bible story. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do.
Like,
well, I think everything is about the stories that get passed down, don't you?
Do you know? Yeah, but do you know that I just read it, the story of Seth and Osiris, or I don't know Osiris versus his uncle to be king of the gods, and his uncle tries to sneak in at night and penetrate him because that would make him the superior, and but he cleverly catches his uncle between his hands and catches his semen between his legs, and then he goes and tells Isis. He shows his hands, and she gets a copper sword and chops off his hands and throws his hands in the Nile, okay? And then she has him go jerk off on lettuce and trick his uncle into eating it. This is during the big god contest to see who's going to be the head god. This is like somebody's church to hear this story. And he goes, the uncle says, I have performed the labor of a woman upon Osiris. And they go, I don't know, well, call to both our semen and see from where it answers. So they... When I'm reading this, it's Seth's semen. It's like a tongue twister, the whole story. And they called forth unto Seth's semen, and they heard it coming from the river. And like, that's weird. It was on the river. And they called the younger nephew's semen, and it called from out of Seth's belly. So they knew, oh, you have semen in you, dude, so now you're not the king. So, okay, amazing Egyptian architecture and whatever. Just, those are the stories. Like, those are the stories behind it. Is somebody jizzing on hands? Like, that's the alien wisdom that they had, along with the pyramids.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. You get the inconsequential stuff along with the genius stuff. They go together, kind of.
No, I love that story. That's one of my favorite stories I've ever read.
That's a great story.
I can't imagine as a kid just hearing that as, like, isn't that thing, there's like a Sunday school and somebody learns that? Like a pyramid.
I find you incredibly interesting to talk to.
I
think you're funnier than shit.
I
you
agree.
really
Thanks,
go
man.
out there. I love it.
One of the smartest people we've ever
You
talked
are
to.
so not a bore. And I'm telling you what, I'm 70 and bored easily. And I loved having you as a guest.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Wild. Thank you.
Oh, you see